us. Welcome to the masterclass for today, where we're going to be discussing something that is very, very important with respect to understanding whom business analysts are and also whom the project managers are. Okay, I'm going to bring up my screen in the next few seconds so that I'll be sure that everybody here can follow everything that we are going to be discussing today. And if you know anybody that is going to benefit from our conversation for today, please feel free to share the link to this meeting with them so that they can be able to join us and hear what they need to know. Your friends, your family members, even your worst enemy that you feel needs to understand what we're talking about today. Feel free to send the link to them so that they can also be able to join in and hear what we are going to be discussing. So we're going to be talking about generally project manager versus business analyst, the roles, the skills, and of course, the opportunities that exist in that space, okay? Many a times we confuse these two guys, the project managers, PM, and also the BA, the business analyst. But for today, we're going to demystify it and make sure that we all understand who they are separately, what their roles entail, the skills that you need for you to excel in any of those career paths, and of course, the opportunities that exist on these roles, okay? But before we jump right into our discussion for today, I would love to know you and also get to know where you are joining us from today, okay? So feel free to put in the comment section your name and the location of where you are joining us from so that we can get the discussion started immediately. All right, so let's put our name and the location of where we are joining from beside it so that we can immediately get the discussion for today up and running so that we're sure that we know where everyone is joining us from. Okay, I can see iPhone. Okay, that's Sam from UK. Okay, I believe that's UK. Yeah. Okay, so I'm still waiting for others who have close to 20 people on the call for now. We're still expecting a lot of other people to join us, all right? But we want to also start the introduction started immediately so that we can kickstart the conversation. I can see Chineye from Lagos, Nigeria. I can see Quadzo from UK. I can see Barbara from Nigeria. I can see Destiny from United Kingdom. I can see Iroma from Ghana. I can see Titilayo from UK as well. So we are shuttling between UK and Nigeria for the, okay, and also Ghana. We have 3 countries present for now, UK, Ghana, and also Nigeria. All right, so if you are yet to put your own name down, also feel free to put it. And I also want to know if today is the first time that you are joining any of our sessions, right? If today is the first time you're joining any of our sessions, please also feel free to put a 1 in the comment section. But if you've been here before, feel free to put any number as you deem fit so that we'll know how we are going to have our discussion for today. Okay, I have a special gift for people that today is their first time. I can see iPhone, today's his or her first time. Favor, the same thing, and also Tlayo. Okay, it's good to have you all on the call. My colleague Obong will be dropping the attendance link for this conversation in the comment section, okay? Feel free to fill that link, all right? With it, you are going to have access to the recorded version of this conversation and also the slide that we're going to be using this evening, okay? So once you fill it, by the time we are done with everything that we're going to be talking about, we are going to send the slide to you and also share the recorded version of the discussion with you as well. Okay, we're going to jump right into our discussion immediately. But exactly who are we? Okay, who are we that's organizing these events for you this evening? So we are Analyst, and we are the leading educational technology company that is focused on providing specialized training for people to get the tech skills that they need for them to move from any points that they are currently into the tech career path. Okay, we've been doing this for close to 5 years, and we've helped close to 3,000 people transition from our classroom in UK, US, Canada, Europe, of course, Africa, and also Asia. And we have only 8 basic courses that we offer, okay? And I'm going to tell you the reason why we offer only these 8 courses, and that includes data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile project management, that's also Scrum Master, cybersecurity, and also soon to come AI engineering. And how exactly do we help people to move a classroom into landing roles? So what we do is we always bring in experts, friends like Sahara Group, Deloitte, KPMG, to come back to the classroom to teach individuals using real life case studies. So instead of you learning theoretically, you are actually learning using the experience of others. You are working on real life projects. And this is the only way that you can be able to get experience before landing a job. All right. So this is how we've been able to help a lot of people move from our own classroom into landing roles across these different continents. And with me today, we have an amazing facilitator. And Moses, please confirm that you can hear me loud and clear. Please confirm that you can still hear me loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Hello, everyone. Hello.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, I wanted to. All right, so with me today, I have amazing facilitator, not a person than Moses Joshua. So Moses is a senior agile project manager here at Analytics, and he has a lot of experience in project management and also has a passion for organizing teams to deliver impactful projects, whether it's through waterfall methodology or through agile or Kanban, as the case may be. He's there to walk you through all those things. All right, and throughout his career, he has led cross-functional teams and also refined processes to improve all the existing attributes that they have while leveraging agile methodology. So in no distant time, we are going to be hearing from Moses with respect to all these four things that we are going to be talking about today. And number one is introducing you to business analysis and also product management. You need to understand what these two career paths actually entails fully. Then walk you through the career opportunities of a BA and also a project manager. And of course, the internship opportunity that you also have. How do you get internship? How do you get experience without having the experience that recruiters are looking for? Is by working on real life projects and also interning with companies to build up your own experience. Then lastly, walk you through our special discounted offer to you by virtue of joining this session. So the next voice you're going to be hearing will be Moses to walk us through all that we need to know. So hi, Moses, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much, Chukwemeka. Give me a minute, let me share my screen. Can you all see my screen now? All right.
Yes.
All right then. Let me put it on slide mode so it will be easier to explain. All right. Good day, everyone. Once again, my name is Moses Joshua, and today I'll be talking or giving the difference between a business analyst and an agile project manager. So firstly, I'll start with an introduction, right? A simple introduction, a simple scenario, so that we'll be able to understand fully or grasp with little example what the both of them are talking about, right? Okay, first of all, I would like us to imagine something, right? We are building a house. Like, let's use a simple scenario of building a house, right? A construction work. There are two key players here. We have the project manager and then the business analyst. What are their two roles? So for the project manager, when it comes to building a house, the work he does is he supervises the construction and ensures that the house is built on time, within budget, and without any issues. So basically, all his work is just to make sure everything is aligned, going through the right path, everyone is doing their work, the tasks are assigned to appropriately to who is supposed to do the tasks, and then it is being managed successfully up till the end. And it is done within the amount of time that has been given for the project without any delays, and to make sure that the project is, at the end of every project, right? the most important things is what the customer satisfaction. So if you are building a house, the first thing that you should have in mind is what's the customer satisfaction. So when the project manager is managing, at the end goal, whatever he has in his mind is the end goal, which is what the customer satisfaction, or the person that owns the house, the satisfaction. So he has to make sure that everything goes in accordance to that. So now let's talk about business analysts. What do? They are like the architects. They listen to the house owner. They jot down whatever the house owner needs. Okay, firstly, you say, okay, example here, I give a simple example here, the kitchen, right? You know, we say that the women are the ones that owns the kitchen, right? So when you want to build a kitchen, you have to go and reach out to the man of the house to say, go and meet the madam. She's the owner of the kitchen. So she will know the best thing she wants for her kitchen. So when you go to meet the woman, she'll be able to analyze or tell you the exact thing she wants. Some people will say, I want a big kitchen, I want a small kitchen, I want the design to be like this. So the business analyst simply notes down all those points and create a blueprint for the construction so that the team that are going to be building this will be able to have something to follow at the end of the day, right? So basically, these are their tasks. Project manager basically manage and supervise the project from beginning to end, making sure budget is in accordance and there's no issues. And the business analyst just make sure the blueprint is created so that the team will be able to know what to construct. So let's move further to explaining or defining what a project manager and a business analyst is. When you hear the word project manager, what comes to your mind? A project and a manager. It basically means project manager basically means someone that manages or leads a project. That's the simplest form I can break it down into, right? A project manager is someone that manages and manages a project from beginning to end. They ensure that the projects are actually delivered on time and within budget, right? So according to what I said before, they will make sure that everything goes according to plan. Firstly, before they do that, they will first of all have spoken with the owner of the project, discuss with them, have an agreement when they want this project to be done, how much this project is going to cost, and all that. And if it is good enough, and if it is good, the project manager is going to agree to that, and then he will create a timeline for that, and then keep planning with what he had till he's able to do this. And the major skill or the major things that is done in project manager is one is the planning phase, right? They'll have to make plans at the end of the day to know, okay, well, what is the best way, best approach for this? What are the things that are required for this and all that? So after doing that, they move to the execution phase, whereby all their planning will now be executed. All the plannings will now be put to actions here. That's what the execution phase is. So let's use a simple example, right? You want to cook like rice, or you want to cook jollof rice. When you want to make a plan, what do? What is the first thing you do? Who wants to give an answer? If you want to prepare as simple as rice, I want to use a simple example that everyone knows: food. So if you want to prepare food, let's say jollof rice, right? What is the first thing you will do when you want to plan? Me, I would say, firstly, you have to decide what quantity of rice you want to cook, right? After that, you need to decide if I'm using a meat, if I'm using a beef, if I'm using a chicken, if I'm using a fish to do that, whatever protein you want to use. So that's you making plans, right? You are planning. So after you are done with planning, the next thing you do is execute, right? You now start going to market to get the necessary resources you need. Okay, I said I need five cups of rice. I need to go and get 5 cups of rice. Or if you have it at home, that's fine. You make it ready. The next is what get the necessary ingredient needed, the meat, whatever you decide to use, either the chicken or the beef or the fish, whatever you decide to use, you get that ready. And then when you're done with getting everything, you now start making it. It's still in the execution phase. When you start putting everything on the fire, putting the ground oil, putting the you find the pepper and all that, those are which you'll be checking it. Okay, is it done? What's left? Do I need to add more water? Is it ready? So that is the execution phase. So the next is what? When monitoring, when you're done with monitoring, the next is what? It's get done. That means you're going to the closure phase. So those are the steps or key steps involved in project management. The next, let's now move to what business analyst does in this case. The business analyst analyzes the needs. What is required? Okay, imagine a business, right? You're starting up, you're doing a startup, right? You want to start a business and you don't know anything about that niche. You want to build a fintech, like a payments platform. You want to build a payments platform, right? And you don't know much about it. The first thing you need to do is get a business analyst. What will he do for you? Basically, he will go around, get research, do lots of research in that community or in that field. When it comes to payments platform, he will go to your competitors, people that have done this before. He will get the challenges you might be facing. All those will be documented. So he gets all the problems that the business will face at the end of the day, and then he provides a solution. He gives you steps. Okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We've analyzed the market trend. We've done the necessary requirements. We've gotten the necessary requirement that is needed. The next thing is what will provide the solution. Okay, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. Right. So when you are done with the business analyst, then the solution has been made, then it can now progress to building, because you now have a vivid idea of the field you are going into, the business you want to create, right? So you can now move into building that application, right? So now let's move to the next, which is tools. Okay, what are the roles in project management? What are the roles? Before we move to the roles in project management, who can tell me, I've already said it before, who can tell me what does a project manager do? Just put it in the chat. Just put it in the chat. What does a project manager do? I'm looking at the chat now. No one, is everyone still here with me? I've said it before, so I want this class to be as communicative as possible. I want everyone to engage in this class so that I will not be the only one speaking. So you guys should contribute. What do you guys think? Project manager supervises the project. Nice. He manages the project. Great. Okay. Great, Tolu. So next, I'm more, okay, oversees the project. He leads the project. Thank you very much. You guys are great. Basically, you guys are correct. Basically, that's what they do. They actually manage the project. They care about what they care about mostly is the deadlines. They are always checking the deadlines. Is this task close to the deadline? Do I need to reach out to the person in charge of this task? The budget, is the budget going to be enough for this milestone that we are going to be doing now? Is it going to be enough for this project? That is the things that they are more concerned about. They are more concerned about deadline, the project progress, and all the milestone, and to make sure that everyone is doing their job. Thank you very much. They say manage the project to meet the deadline. Thank you very much. So they make sure that everyone is up to task, doing the necessary thing they are supposed to do. He'll be, hey Tolu, are you sure you're almost done with your work? What's left? He'll make sure that, okay, everyone is up and doing, and you're able to have a detailed report of the progress of everyone. So the core responsibility of a project manager, what is the core responsibility? I've said it is basically towards oversee the project to ensure that the projects are delivered on time, within budget, and they're able to meet the objective of the project. And the key activities that they do is what they plan. We do planning. Project manager, they do the planning. They do resource allocation. What does resource allocation means? Meaning that resource can still mean the team, the development team, the design team, the marketing team. Everyone involved in a certain project can be resources. So you will now be allocating the necessary resources that are needed for the project. Okay, the design team, okay, you are going to be handling the design part of the project. The development team, you'll be handling the development part of the project, and then you can now break the development part. They have different categories under the development part, right? You can now break them down. All this will be discussed. We'll discuss this in our class. So this is just a tip of, or a scratch on the surface of what a project manager does. So next is what team leadership, right? We do team leadership, whereby they'll be able to mentor, guide everyone. I think there's a difference between being a leader and being forgotten the word, but okay, there's a difference between being a leader and being the one that are heading everyone, like you want to command everyone, right? A leader is basically, okay, I'm just here to assist you guys. What do you need? It's just someone that, okay, is just there to put them through. Okay, what do you need? What do you need? Do you need a support on this part? Do you need a help from this part? Okay, I'll reach out to this person so that I'll be able to help you. So it's basically just there to just hear complaints and help them resolve it. That's what a leader does. Listen to them, hear their complaints, hear what they need to be done, and then help them resolve it. So next is what I said this one is very, very important. Stakeholder communication. When it comes to project managers, you have to communicate a lot, and you should be able to communicate clearly to your stakeholders, because if you're able to communicate clearly, they'll be able to understand what the project is all about. So that is basically it. So now let's move to tools that are used in project management. Tools used in project management. These are like common tools that are used in project management. We have several other tools, right? We have several other tools. So I'll just list this few here. One is what the Microsoft projects. Microsoft Project is one of the tools that are used in project management. And what does this tool do is what for majorly for timelines and schedule. So it helps you for timeline and schedule. Don't forget, I said we have other tools also, not just Microsoft projects. We have other tools also that can be used for timeline and schedules. Next, we have Trello, Asana, and Jira. What are these tools used for basically? They are used for task management and team collaborations. So that is basically what they are used for. There are other usefulness on it. This is just like a summary or a tip of it. So I'm just giving you a glimpse of everything. Right. So if you want to enjoy more of this course, or you want to like learn more about this, all you need to do is just come to Analytics and take one of our course, and you'll be able to get more knowledge on this. So the next I would say is Slack. We use Slack and Microsoft Teams. This is basically for communication, team meetings, stakeholder meetings, and all that, giving updates. This is what is used to communicate. We have other tools also for this. We can use Zoom, like the one we are using now, and also Google Meet. All of them can be used for communication also and to give updates. And I know okay, so now let's move to salary average for a project manager. I know most people think that project managers, what is actually their work? What do they do? How much are they paid with this work that they do? Do you think that they'll be collecting much? So with this, I was able to like break it down to like the 3 states, which is the UK, the US, and then Canada, 3 countries, right? So for the UK, the average salary for a project manager, the average, not the highest, just the average, we have from about 45K to 75K, 75,000, 45,000 to 75,000 euros, right? That's the average salary for a project manager in the UK, right? So depending on how much you know in project management, you can now be building yourself, getting more roles from project manager. You can become a PMO, you can become a program manager. So depending on how vast you are or the niche you're diving into, you'll be able to gain more knowledge and you'll be able to upscale and get more payments. Right. The next here is what US. The price, the United States, the price is about it's $5,000 to $140,000. Right. So this is the average in the US. And then for Canada, we have about 80,000 to 130,000 Canadian dollars also in Canada. So this is the price range or the average salary of a project manager per annum in this respective countries. So now let's look at business analyst, the role of a business analyst. We've talked about project manager, the role of a project manager. So now let's look at the role of a business analyst. According to what I've said before, who wants to try? What does a business analyst do? Who wants to give it a trial in the chat? What does a business analyst do? So I'm looking at the chat here now. Who wants to give it a try? All right, I'm waiting. What does a business analyst do? Okay. They analyze and then provide requirements. They gather requirements. All right, thank you very much, Tolu Lokwe. They bridge the gap between business needs and IT solution. Thank you very much. Oluwaseun. Then Fubara, the business analyst analyzes the business and its environment. Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. So basically, you guys have mentioned most of them. So basically, they focus on figuring out problems and suggesting the best solution for it. So they create blueprints. Thank you very much. With that example we'll give at the beginning, that's very good. So basically, they figure out problems and then they suggest the best solution to actually tackle it. So that's what a business analyst does. Basically, they look at your project. What are you doing? What is the problem that you might face in the future or you are currently facing? How do we tackle it? What is the cause of this problem? They will help you get to the root of the problem and they will be able to provide series of solutions to you so that you can decide to, okay, this is the best route to go, but you can try this out also. They'll be able to list out all this problem for you. So they've done their analysis on your business, on your product, and they will be able to provide or suggest a solution to you. So you will now decide to either go with them or you do what you want to do, or you do what you feel is good for your business, right? So now, what are the core responsibility? I think we've mentioned that the core responsibility includes identifying business needs and analyzing the requirements needed for the business. That's basically the core responsibility of a business analyst. And then the activities, what do they do? What are the key activities they do? One, they write down clear instruction so that everyone knows what to do, one, and then they act as link between people who wants to change, who wants changes and the team making those changes to happen. So basically what this is saying is they're like a bridge. I think someone mentioned that in the chat here. They're like a bridge. Let me read the chat. They're like a bridge between business need and IT solution. That's basically what one of the key activities that have been listed here. So now, what are the tools that are used in business analysts? We have several tools listed here also. And according to what I said before, this is just a few tools that are listed here. We have several other tools also, but most of them, they do almost the same work, right? So if you're able to get this, you'll be able to get understanding or an idea of how to use other tools in business analysis, as a business analyst. So now let's list the tools we have. We have Visio or Draw.io. This is used to create flowcharts and diagram. And then we have UML model tool. This is used for designing technical solutions. And then we have Excel for data analysis and reporting. We have our wireframe tools for designing user interface and so on, right? So we have other tools. We have Power BI. Power BI is also used in business analysis, using business analysis. And then we have our Tableau also. Tableau is also used in business analysis. So we have several others, right? So depending on what you want to do, so you'll be able to get more knowledge on these tools. And also, if you take a course with us, don't worry, all these are actually covered in our program. All these are covered in our program, whereby we'll teach you all the tools that are necessary and how to actually use most of those tools. Now let's move to the average salary of a business analyst, right? So for the UK, we have an average salary of about 35k to 65k euros for the UK. So this is like the average salary, probably a beginner level or basic level, right? A mid level. So this is like the average salary. Then we have the US, which is about 70k to $120,000. And then for the Canada, we have about 70,000 to 110,000 Canadian dollars for Canada's. So this is the average salary for these 3 countries. So if you are looking to go into either the project manager role or the business analyst role, you've seen the payment, you've seen that there's money in these roles, right? So it's not something like, okay, I don't know what they do here. This is not something. So you've seen that there's actually money here. So this is not something. This is something you can actually do. And don't forget, this is also a tech skill that you can actually learn. And in case you are thinking of, oh, I don't know how to code, I don't know how to cram a lot, because most people don't know how to cram a lot of code when it comes to coding. And no, they don't want to write code, they don't know how to do all that. So these tools are meant for you. This is absolute beginner program that you can actually learn from the scratch without any prior knowledge on tech, and you'll still be able to grasp the understanding. So now let's move to okay. Why is it not moving? Give me a minute, please. All right. So what are the skills required in project manager? As a project manager, what are the skills that are required? Right. So I broke these skills down into 2, which is the technical skills and then the soft skills. Technical skills and soft skills. So for the technical skills, project management methodologies and risk assessments, right? So this is a skill that has been learned. So you'll be able to learn how to go the agile way and the waterfall way. This is a skill in project management. So we have agile methodologies. We have several methodologies in project management, right? We have agile methodology, we have waterfall, we have SAFe, we have Scrum. So we have several methodologies in project management, right? And also another technical skill in project management is what? Tool mastery. You know, when you are good at using some tools, right, you have an edge over a lot of people, right? You have an edge. So if you say, okay, what tools can you use? And you're able to list them out. I'm able to use Trello, I'm able to use Jira, I'm able to use MS Projects, and no, you're able to list all this comfortably. You have an edge over other people also, right? So you should be able to comfortably use tools like Microsoft Projects, Trello, Jira, Asana, basically. So for the soft skills, this is more like skills that you can build on, right? Like your leadership skills, your communication skills. And I've said it before, right? As a project manager, you should be able to know how to communicate a lot, right? You should be able to know how to talk a lot, to like convince your client. That's where negotiation comes in. Sir, looking at this project, this amount is not going to be enough. You know, there are some people, immediately you start calling a price that, oh, this project, this is the amount it's going to take, that your budget is not going to work. They'll want to back out of it, right? So it's your work now to start convincing them that, no, the reason why I gave you this amount or this quota is because of this and this and this. We are going to do this, we are going to do this. So if you're able to convince them, that's where the power of negotiation comes in. They will be able to rethink that, okay, I think I'm understanding what this guy is saying. Okay, let me just look into it, right? And then try to do something about it. So that's basically it. And some other tools include planning, time management for smooth project deliveries. So at the end of the day, we want to always deliver our projects on time. That's why time management is very, very important. Very, very important. And then certifications. What are the certifications we can get in projects as a project manager, right? So there are several certifications you can get in project management, right? We have the PMP, project management. We have the PMP. We have the Prince 2. So basically, we have the Prince 2, we have the PMI, Project Management Institute, we have the Agile, we have the Agile certifications, we have the Scrum certifications. So we have several certifications in project management. So depending on the tool and the niche you want to dive into, that's when you'll be able to understand or decide on the certifications to get for your work, right? For the niche you want to go into, right? So, but there's nothing bad in having, so the major tools to have is what? The PMP, the PMI, which is the Project Management Institute, and then the Prince 2. Those ones are the common ones you can have as a project manager. Then you can add other tools, you can add other certifications to your portfolio as you go on, or you dive down, or you break down into smaller niches. You can have more certifications as you go on. So now, what are the skills or key skills in data analysis? We've looked at key skills in project manager. Let's look at some key skills in project analysis. Same thing here. I broke it down into I broke the skills into two, which is the technical and the soft skills. When we talk about technical skills, these are the skills that are like tools. These are the skills that you use for working, basically. Why soft skills is like reasoning, your mind of thought, and all those ones that deals with talking, communication, all these things. So those are soft skills. Why technical skills? So let's list the technical skills that we have for business analysts, right? One, we have the requirements elicitation technique. Next, we have the business analysis. Next, we have the process modeling. And then we have as a one of the tools you need to have as a business analyst is one, you have to be able to familiarize yourself with frameworks. The same way we say you should be able to familiarize yourself with mastering tools in project management. For business analysts, you have to familiarize yourself with different frameworks, and frameworks like UML, BPMN. So these are frameworks that are being used in business analysis. And there are several certifications also when it comes to business analyst or business analysis. And these are like two, I listed just two certifications here, but we have several ones depending on the niche you want to go into. So for the certification, we have the CBAP, and then we have the CCPA certifications. So let's move now to careers opportunities in project management. So I would like us to like list, let's just do a little bit of discussion here. Let's list industries. Who can tell me industries that project managers can work in? Where do you guys think project managers can work in? Just list, give me your options, give me your suggestions. Where do you guys think? I've listed few here. I said IT, construction, finance. Which other industries these guys think project managers can work in? Want to give it a go? Healthcare, nice. Health industry, thank you very much. And then built environment, nice. That's construction. Also, now let's go. Who else? Okay, every industry, basically, government. That's good. Thank you very much, guys. So basically, these are all the places we can actually work. Then for job titles, we have several job titles that we can go into. I've been mentioning niche when it comes to project management, right? Niche is basically like a smaller part. Okay, you want to like dive down. You don't want to go broad into project management. You don't want to learn. After learning all the project management, you still need to niche down. What are the smaller other parts or job titles you can apply for as a project manager? One is what the project manager basically, and the next is program manager, and then we have project director also. So who wants to list any other ones? Who wants to give it a try? Let me see. Who has any other job titles in mind that project managers can handle? Okay, so basically a project manager can also work as a portfolio. They have other job titles like portfolio manager also. We have the scrum masters also. We have the agile managers also. Okay, thank you very much. Do you see scrum masters? So we have a lot more. We have so many more. So if you want to keep listing them, they are going to. We also have project coordinators. They just coordinate the projects. So we have several other ones also. So now locations where we can actually see these jobs. We can see them in London, UK. It doesn't matter. These jobs are everywhere. You can get a job remotely. You can be at home and get a job, right? It doesn't matter, right? So the location does not matter. You can be at home and get a job in London, UK, Toronto. It doesn't mean, right? So basically, the major goal is what? To work as project manager, and you can work remotely anywhere, right? Some people might want you to work are physically, some people work hybrid. So it depends on how you want it, right? So you can work in any condition as a project manager. So you are not basically fixed on you have to go to the site every day as a project manager, right? So you have other roles whereby it can just be hybrid, whereby you just go in there probably twice a week, and you'll be able to get what has been done. So now let's look at the career opportunities for a business analyst. We've done that for a project manager. So let's do for a business analyst. So industries that a business analyst can work in, we said the IT industry, the consulting industry, the retail industry, the government industry. Who wants to give it a try for other industries? Which other industries do you think a business analyst can work under? Who wants to give it a try? Right, I'm waiting. Who wants to give it a try? Okay, so I'll just be looking at the chat for other options that have been listed down. So for the job titles, we also have several job titles that for a business analyst. Okay, energy industry. Thank you very much, Kunle. So we have other job titles for a project manager. We have the business analyst, we have the system analyst, we have the data analyst, we have the business architecture. So don't forget, before we said that they're able to create a blueprint for the tax, right? So those are the job titles that we have. We have several other job titles also. So, okay, some people are listening here. They can also work in oil and gas, aviation sector, and so on. Okay, which is highly in demand. Don't worry, we'll talk about that before the end of today's section. Don't worry, just keep stay on it. So now for location, I listed locations here, but this location, okay, process analyst also. So places we can work as a business analyst are London, UK, New York, and Toronto. And as I've said before, remotely, you can from your home, comfort of your home, you can work anywhere. You can work anywhere, be it London, the UK, Toronto. It doesn't mean you can work there remotely. But there are some jobs that requires you to like come in once a week or twice a week. Those jobs are referred to as hybrid jobs, or so those ones are hybrid jobs. So you can also get that, and the location does not matter. Depends on your location. Can get hybrid jobs and also go in once in a week or twice, depending on the arrangement with the employees. So now, choosing the right part, right? Be it a project manager or a business analyst, both parts are actually right. I wouldn't say there is one that is more better than the other, right? Both roles are actually crucial. They have their crucial roles. They have different tasks that they do, right? A project manager focuses on execution of a project, while a business analyst focuses on analysis, basically. And basically, as I've said before, these are roles that depends on you. What aspects can you fit in, basically? But as I've said before, at Analytics, we handle both the project manager role and the business analyst program. So if you're okay, and also if you're not sure of the program you want to go in for, just reach out to us. We also hold clarity sections where we'll be able to talk to you, and then we'll be able to enlighten you based on your own based on you, what do you want and which field will be more suited for you. So don't hesitate to fill the form that is being sent into the chat, and then we'll reach out to you. So now let's look into Jira a bit, just a little bit. I'll just give you a glimpse of what Jira is, because our time is almost 5 minutes. And then this is just a glimpse of what Jira is. And don't forget, you can come for Agile Project Management Program, and then a full detail of this course will be broken down to you. So give me a minute. Let me share my screen for the board. Okay. So basically, this is how the board looks like, right? So this is how the board looks like for Jira, right? This is like the backlog of how the Jira this is how the Jira backlog look like, right? So I've opened it here. So if you want to start afresh, the time wouldn't be able to permit us to start creating a project from afresh and then filling it up to this extent, right? But I'll just be showing you like a tip, little things that should be done in, or the important things that are needed when it comes to Jira. And one of the important things I would like to talk about today, it might be just the only thing I'll talk about for today, which will be user story and then end user. What is a user story and end user, and then how to actually write a user story, basically. So now we hear the word, okay, we hear the word user story. What is user story? Well, don't just be confused with the word user story. It's just like a terminology that is used in project management, right? The terminology in other sectors also, be it health sector, be it oil and gas sector, they have their terminologies that are being used in all those other sectors, right? But here, right, the terminology here, the user story is just the terminology, and we'll break it down as we go on. So what is user story? Let's just take it one word at a time. A user and a story. User story is basically saying the user story is just basically the story from a user or the description from a user. Let me give an example here. Let me give an example here. You go out, you go to a restaurant, right? And you go to a restaurant and then you sit down and then you are asked to like and then someone comes to meet you and then asks you what you want. They've asked you what you want, and the person start writing whatever you say. What the person is actually writing. Okay, tell the person, okay, I need a bottle of Coke. I need jollof rice, or I need white rice and stew with some beefs on it. That is you describing what you want to the waiter, right? So what the waiter is writing on that small list of paper is called the user story. It's basically writing your need as a user. You that is describing what you want, you are the end user, right? And the user story, it is what she's writing on that piece of paper. So basically, what she's trying to do is what she's trying to write a user story that will be able to please you, the end user, at the end of the day. So the reason why she wants to get all those details is so that she does not give you a wrong order, because at the end of the day, you'll be happy with that, right? So she's trying her best to like, okay, what do you need? What do you need? Okay, I'm writing it down. So at the end of the day, if the person now goes in and then misplaces the things she's written or the user story she has written, that means she will either bring up a wrong order for you, which will not be pleasing to you, right? And as an end user, you're not going to be happy. You're going to be having a bad review for that day for them. So that's also work in the case of project also, right? So the project owner would define what he wants to you as a project manager. You as a project manager will now decide to now write, okay, this is what I want. And when the project owner is saying it, you will now be jotting it down. Okay, this is what they want, this is what they want. And at the end of the day, you help them build it. And there are some questions people ask or students ask, right? That who is supposed to like write the user story? Who is supposed to write user story? Ah, well, I would say basically it's the project owner that is supposed to write the user story because they understand it more, right? They are the ones that wants the project. They are the ones supposed to write the project, the user story. But as a project manager, you should be able to write the user story also, because it also gives you an edge as a project manager. Because most times when employee comes to meet you, especially for a project, they will ask you, okay, can you write? Because some project owners are actually lazy to write this, right? They're actually lazy to start saying, okay, let me just sit down and start writing a user story from the beginning to the end and all that. They want to like delegate that task. That's why they will get a project manager. And they'll tell the project manager, okay, help me write the user story. All they'll do is they'll just be describing what they want. the same way you are describing it to the waiter. Okay, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, I need you to do this. So that's basically how it is, right? You describe basically what you want to the person. And then, so now let's go right into it. And then, okay, imagine, let me give another example. As I create this, right? So imagine you want to you want to stream a podcast on Spotify. You want to stream a podcast, and then you have a complaint, and then you're trying to press the button on that Spotify website, and the button is not going anywhere, or a platform, or let me use another platform like your social media. You are the end user and you're trying to go through their app, and you're clicking on a particular button, it's not working. You want to post, it's not posting, and you know that you have data and your internet is good, and you're pressing all those things, it's not working. You as an end user, you will not be pleased. So they are the people in charge of those platforms will have to work on it to please you as the end user. So the end goal of every person that is building a project is actually to please the end user at the end of the day. So that's why we need to actually know how to write a user story. So there are steps in writing a user story, which I'll be going in as we go on. So firstly, I'll just use this part. I created this Spotify podcast newly as a project. So I'll create it newly here. And then we'll describe it. When creating a user as an end user or as a user story, when you write a story, there are several ways to write your user story, right? In a blog, like you want to describe on a project before and side that needs to be fixed. You can then come here and say, okay, the user is on a bug or bug on the website. So you just click on bug. All you need to do is describe the kind of bug that is so, right? So you just describe the bug and then you submit, and then you fix it. You summarize what is needed. So now for this here, and also if it is in form of, it's basically doing is when someone assigns what the task is, right? So now because story that we've not done before, we'll just go with story. Course one, and then we'll put a description here. I'll say Spotify cast, and then creating okay. So and then what do? I'll create this. So immediately I create this, it automatically opens here. So I have to open the issues here. Okay. So it automatically opens this page for me here to fill in the stuff, to fill in the necessary details here. I don't know, can you guys still see the new board that's been created? Let me, I think the screen shifted to a new screen. Right, I think it's still on it. All right. Okay, I thought it moved to the next, because it opened a new tab. That's why I had to check if it's still on the tab. So now when you've opened this, the next thing you want to do is write a description on this user story you want to do. And how do you write a description? That's the question you need to ask yourself. How do you write a description? We want to write about a podcast. Probably an end user is having an issue, do something on his podcast. So at the end of the day, we'll be able to see what this end user wants to do with this Spotify podcast that he's not able to, needs them to work on it. Basically, that's why we need to create this user story, so that those people that wants to work on this project will be able to go through it and say, okay, this is what the user wants, and then we'll be able to help the user to fix this. So now let's go on. If you want to write there's a format I use when you want to write like a description, when I want to come up with a description for writing user story, right? And what do I call this? I call it like the 3 Ws, right? I call it the 3 Ws. One is the, and then the next one is for what, and then the next W is for why. Don't worry, I will explain how it works for you guys. Don't worry, I'll explain how it works. So the first W is for who. What is it saying? Who means the end user. If you want to, as I've said before, as when you want to write a user story, you have to write it in the perspective of the end user at the end of the day. You need to write the end user story at the perspective of the end user. So at the end of, so when you are writing when you are working on it, you're able to know that okay, the end user, this is what they want. This, because what you are building is basically for them. So if you are not trying to please them with what you are building, who wants to use it for you, right? So you have to like hear what they want to say. That's why some people or some project or new startup, when they want to start, they will like share survey forms to people. Okay, you fill in this survey form, try to do this, let us hear your thoughts on this app you want to build. This is what you want to create. Let us hear your thoughts and all that. They'll share the form and people were able to fill. Those people that are filling, they are the end users. And we that are collecting the form, because we are just collecting their user stories so that we'll be able to have an idea of what they want, so that we'll be able to build it for them, because they are the ones that are going to be using it at the end of the day. If they are not pleased with what they want to use, they will eventually not use it, and you eventually lose on that project. If it's a project that is supposed to bring money, they will eventually lose at the end of the project. So the who is basically you writing it as the end user. So when you want to write it, you say, when you want to write the description, you say as a Spotify, as a Spotify podcast listener, podcast listener. Okay, so now this is you writing it as the end user. You start it with as a Spotify listener. You know that this is the who we are talking about here, as a Spotify listener. So you're looking it as in terms of the end user, people that are going to be listening to this podcast, right? So now we are done with the who aspects. So now let's move to the what aspect. Let's move to the what aspect. What does what aspect means? It means you saying what you want, the action. What do you want to do as this person, as the Spotify listener? What do you want to do? What do you want? So as a Spotify listener, I want to save podcasts as my favorite. I want to. So you have to like describe what you want to do. This is where the what comes in, like the next W, which is the what. You have to describe what you want to do as the listener, what you want them to do as the listener. So you say, I want to save, podcasts as my favorites. So now you've written the next W, which is the what. That's the action. What do you want them to do as the podcast listener? Then now we'll now move to the next W, which is what? The why. The next W is why. Why do you want? Okay, now we've known that as a podcast listener, you want to save your favorite songs, right? You want to save your favorite song. You want to save as your favorite, right? You want to be able to save podcasts as your favorite, right? So now, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do that? So now, if you want to do that, next is it will be, when you want to start that, it will be so that I can create my own custom list of favorite podcasts. Favorite podcasts. So now this is you creating this. So this is basically how to create your description. It's as simple as this. Firstly is your first W. So when you want to create your user story, 3 Ws you should always note. Firstly is your what? Firstly is your who. Who means the end user, the people that you are looking, that you want to build this thing for. So you have to look it in that perspective. And next is what? The action there. I want to save podcast as my favorite. That's the one. That's the action there. That's what they want to do. That's where the what come in. And then after answering the what, the next thing you will now move to is what? The why. Why do they want to save podcast as their favorite? They want to save it because so that they can create a custom list of favorite podcasts. That's basically what they want to do. So now, when we are done with this, we'll just save it. Or before saving, the next thing you will need to do is what? The next thing after writing your user story, you need to start talking about the criterias. This is where criterias now come in. Criterias that are needed for this user story to be completed. You need to like create, okay, well, fine, what are the criterias that are needed? So there's also, I'll also give you guys like a, what should I call it? Like a format on how I used to write. I also give you guys on how I used to write like my criteria or acceptance criteria. What is acceptance criteria basically? So acceptance criteria is like what is accepted, like what you need to like get to be able to accept this project or this user story. They need to be able to achieve this. So now, if you want to write our acceptance criteria, let's start here. Acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria. So now I also have a format for writing this acceptance criteria. I call it like the given, when, and then. Given, when, and then format. Given, when, then format. I'll explain each of them. The given, when they say given, it basically means showing the context. If I want to show the context, means that what, as I've said before, the acceptance criteria is what I need, what it has to be doing for me to accept it. It has to be doing this. Like, this is what I want you to be doing for me to be able to accept that, okay, format I said is what's given. The first one is given. And what does giving means? What do I mean when I say giving? Giving simply means like just showing the context. It's showing the context of how you want it to be. So let's write the context using this given. Given that, let me write it out. Given the spot. What is the first acceptance criteria? Given the Spotify, given that the Spotify app displays, given that Spotify app displays podcasts. So this is the first criteria. It has to first of all be able to describe or display podcasts. First of all, this is the first criteria. Let me put it in a bullet point so that I'll be able to know as we go on. So this one is supposed to be highlighted so that I'll know. So you can set up the, you can do the setting up later. So the first criteria is what? Given that the Spotify displays the podcast. So first of all, you have to consider the context of how you want it to be, right? And the context for here is what? It first of all has to display the podcast. Because if you don't display podcast, how do you want to be able to even save your favorite if there's no podcast showing? So first thing first, you have to set a base ground. Okay, first of all, let us be seeing podcasts first of all before we now start thinking of creating a section for favorites, right? So now when we are done with the context, we'll move to the next one I said, given when. When is simply saying, when is simply telling us that when is this action going to be carried out? When is this action going to be carried out? So the when is going to be shows some action Oh. So when I click the favorite icon that is displayed by each individual podcast. Okay. All right. So basically, we've done the first one, which is what? Given that the podcast displays given that the Spotify app displays podcast, that's the first criteria. That first criteria has to be settled. When the podcast has started displaying podcasts, when the Spotify is now displaying podcasts, then you now say, when I click on favorite icon that is displayed. So you now move to the when aspect. So now you are now seeing podcasts. We'll now move to the when. When I now click on my favorite icon that is displayed by each of the podcasts. So now at that podcast part, you should be able to see like an icon. That's simply what he's saying. You should be able to see like an icon on that favorite on that podcast. So when you click on that icon, you should be able to display each individual podcast. That's basically what he's saying. So on your favorite icon, that means you should have like a list of favorite icons, like a list of podcasts listed. So immediately you click on that favorite icon, you should be able to see criteria. Now there's a base of there having a podcast displaying. Now we are now moving to the icon of the podcast, meaning that when you click on that icon, favorite icon, all the list of favorite podcasts that you saved should be displayed. That's where the when come in. So now this criteria has to be valid or accepted for the project to actually move forward. So the next one is our time is almost, I'm trying to like breeze through it a bit so that we'll be able to finish on time. So the next one we'll be looking at is the then. We've talked about the giving. Now we've talked about the when, and then the then. What is the then? It's just the observable outcome. What is the outcome at the end of the day? The expected result. That is what the then is. The expected result. I said the when shows some action that are being carried out. The when is showing the action that has been carried out. Basically, we are able to see the action that is being carried out in this when aspect. That when you click on the favorite icon, that is what the when format is standing for. Then we move to the then. When you're done with the when, you move to the then. The then is now showing observable at the end of the day. So what is the observable then? Now let's write the then for this. Then the podcast gets saved. Now we've been able to see. Now I'll explain everything when I finish writing this. Then the podcast, then the podcast gets saved. And this will now display your favorite lists. And this will display in my favorite list. This is so this is everything. So as I've said before, the giving is just like laying the base ground there. It's just like laying the base ground for you. You saying, okay, there has to be like a podcast first of all. You now move to the next criteria. So when this first criteria has been successfully done and is accepted, you now move to the favorite icon, because that's where we are going to. The favorite icon. I need to be able to, when I click on the favorite icon, I need to be able to see a displayed, I need to see a list of individual podcasts that I can click and add to my favorites, right? So that is where the when comes in. And I said the when is what it shows some action that's supposed to be carried out. That's what the when is. So when the when is successfully accepted or is successfully met, when you have met it in the project, you now move to the last one, which is the then. And the then is just talking about then it's talking about like the expected results or the expected outcome at the end of the day. So after doing all this thing, at the end of the day, I want my podcast to be saved, and it should be able to display on my favorite list. That's the end. That's everything. At the end of the day, I want it to be able to display in my favorite list. So this is you successfully writing a user story for this podcast, for this podcast listener that wants to save uh, podcast, basically how to write the user story, right? It's as easy as this. So in anything we want to do, as simple as scrolling through the internet, right? There are user stories involved. They've already collected. Before you build a project, you have to like create a user story, have a user story before you be able to create something. There should be a user story. There's always a user story. Before you want to build a house, you'll be able to talk to somebody that, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want. You would have done your description there, the user story. When you want to build an app like our social media app, we have the Instagram, the Facebook, the X that we have. If you want to build that, when they built that, there was a user story that was created. Okay, let's reach out to your audience that wants to be using this app. What do they need? What do we write? User story comes in. And so eventually, if you want to build a project in the future, you should be able to know how to actually write a good user story. And this is just a tip. And when we save it, you'll see that it's already been created here. This is just a tip. I'm just trying to grace of what is being taught in our program here in Agile Project Management, right? So if you come into our program, you'll be able to get more understanding, more enlightenment on how to actually create all this user story and how to implement it, and then to be able to know which criteria or how to know that your user story is acceptable, because there are also ways to know that your user story is acceptable at the end of the day. So I think my time is up. All right, so everyone, all I will say to you guys is, all I would like to say, or just to conclude for today, is why not analytics, right? Come to analytics, get your program, and we're always here to guide you through any program you're going to be picking. And I'll leave it to Chukwemeta to continue from where I stopped for today. Thank you very much, guys, for having me. So Chukwemeka, you have the floor.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Moses. Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a fantastic discussion that you've led us through for the last couple of minutes. Okay, I hope we are still here and we grabbed a couple of things while Moses was speaking to us in the last few minutes. If you are still here, please drop any comments so that I'll be sure there are people that are under the influence of my voice. Okay, so just put any comments in the comment section, drop anything so that I'll be sure that you heard us till this very minute before we are able to start explaining the different career paths that you can easily break into and how the job market can also enable you to get faster places that you want to be in. Okay, I can see a couple of comments from iPhone Pamela Aziz. Oh, Aziz dropped any comments. Fantastic. And I said drop any comments. You had to drop any comments. Nice one. Okay, fantastic. I can see a couple of people dropping comments. Okay, it means that I have at least close to 10 people that are still following us till now. So first thing I would like to walk us through is, while trying to make a decision on the career path that you want to get into, many people make mistakes. Okay, how do you position yourself to make sure that you do not make that same mistake that other people also make? All right, so what we always do here at Analytics is, at the end of each year, we analyze reports, we analyze jobs that were posted on LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Total Jobs, several jobs, okay, across UK, US, and Canada. And we have one thing in common. We want to be able to analyze all these jobs and get the ones that met these three basic criteria. Number one is, which one has ease of learning? Okay, number one is ease of learning. Number two, ease of transitioning. And of course, number three, high rewarding salary. So what we mean by ease of learning is the career path that you are coming from and you want to break into the tech ecosystem. The tech career path that you've selected, is it one that you can easily be able to learn? Okay, for instance, let's assume that you are coming from a background of teaching and you want to break into the tech career path and you want to be a robotics engineer. You can easily see that the similarity between teaching and robotics engineering is very, very wide. Okay, so you might actually struggle if you are looking to get into it. So we always make sure that we have courses that people can easily learn. Right. Number two is also ease of transitioning. Right. Still using that same teaching as an example. So let me quickly, draw up something here. Let's assume this is our teacher. All right. And as a teacher by virtue of what he or she does in the classroom will interact with the students. All right. And by that same virtue, we also interact with let's say parents, and we likely also interact with the management. Right, so which means this teacher, one way or the other, have interacted with these three different stakeholders. So by virtue of this thing that a teacher is doing, he or she is indirectly practicing what we call stakeholder analysis. All right, it's practicing what we call stakeholder analysis. So if tomorrow this teacher wants to break into career paths, he or she is expected to start looking, okay, stakeholder analysis, which career path is it easily linked when you look at the tech ecosystem? For instance, using this same model as well, and while looking at a teacher and stakeholder analysis, this easily tilts this person towards business analysis aspect. So when the teacher now speaks, she can speak from a place of experience. Oh, while I was actually functioning as a business development officer with this company, whereas she was just a teacher with that company, because she's been able to align what she was doing as a then with the career path that she wants to get into. So you can easily see how ease of transitioning can help you to get into the tech career path easily. Now, if this same teacher decides to leave business analysis and decide, oh, I want to get into cybersecurity, for an example, right? Cybersecurity. What it simply means that she is going to a path where there will not be that ease of transitioning. So if others are now learning for 3 hours or 1 hour or 2 hours, as the case may be, she may be required to give him more time because she needs to be able to come up to speed because she lacked that transferable skills from where she's coming from. So these are things that we look out for. Of course, number 3, which is very, very important. I'm sure that if you ask everyone on this call, their main purpose of trying to break into the tech industry, half of the class is going to mention high rewarding salary. Okay, and that is also part of our criteria for selecting all these 8 courses that we offer. So easily you can see business analysis, you can see agile project management. We also have other courses that we offer, but for the sake of this discussion, we are limiting it to just business analysis and agile project management. All right. Now, after this, we also looked at how do we make sure that all these courses that we are currently offering now in the next coming years, they are still relevant to people. Okay, which means you're not getting to a course that in the next 1-2 years, you are out of job. For instance, early this year, it was only ChatGPT that most of us was using. Okay, and then along the line, China came into the AI market, and then something like the DeepSeek came up. All right, DeepSeek instantly sunk the price of so many AI-related activities because people now felt, oh, does it mean that ChatGPT innovators were actually deceiving us? All right, and this is how it is also in the tech ecosystem. You want to get into a career path where in the next coming years, you are still relevant and nobody's coming to displace you. Okay. And what we did was to look at the World Economic Forum report. And from that report, we were able to see that 170 million jobs are going to be created in the next 5 years. That's by 2030. Okay. And then 92 million jobs are going to be destroyed, which is these jobs in the red side are going to be destroyed, while these ones on the green side are going to be created. So these ones here are going to remain as they are. So what you want to do is to make sure you move from this red side towards the green side. Okay. And how exactly do you do that? How do you make sure that you are on the right side of jobs? It's by first of all looking at the future of jobs report. So if you look at the left-hand side, you're going to see jobs that are going to grow. Right? If you look at the right-hand side, you're going to see jobs that are going to decline. So part of the jobs that are going to grow, you can clearly see project managers exist here. All right. And of course, business analysts also exist here. Okay. Which shows that clearly two of those career paths that we have, selected to offer here in the next coming years, they're also going to be highly, highly relevant. All right. So what you may want to do is make sure you fill the attendance form that my colleagues Lydia and Obong are dropping. So by the end of this masterclass, you can easily click on this link that I have here to download the entire report and look at it extensively. Okay. Now you can also, when you look at this right-hand side, you see the fastest declining job is postal service clerks. Right? You can see that the fastest declining job is the postal service clerk. You can also see the next one is around bank tellers and related clerks. They are looking upward, they're seeing data entry clerks, cashier, administrative officers, printing, and so on and so forth. So what you want to do is to make sure that you move from these career paths here towards this side, okay? And one thing that all the fastest growing jobs have in common is that most of them are related to the tech ecosystem. Right? If you look at the number one fastest growing job as of today is data engineering, okay? And that is big data specialists. And these are people that handle data, your data analysts, your data scientists, your data engineers as well. So you may want to make sure that you move out of the fastest declining career path towards the fastest growing career path. Now, some of these declining career paths also have elements of things that you can easily tweak for you to get up. Right? For instance, you can see that graphic designers, they are amongst the first 15 fastest declining jobs, graphic designers. And if you look at the world today, you'd easily agree with me that graphic design, if you are still doing things that relates to poster or those minor activities, you are already behind. If you go to my Instagram page, you're going to see a couple of things I've been able to post out. And I'm not a graphic designer, but with just the use of Canva, okay, with just the use of Canva, I can easily make anything that I want to do. So how do you, as a graphic designer, now improve on your skill to make sure that you remain relevant? That's where learning other related skills like motion design, improving yourself from just being a graphics person to become the creative director and things like that. That's where you can easily become very, very, very efficient. Now, the one that caught my eye is actually these legal officers. All right, legal officers, legal secretaries, they are also amongst the fastest declining job. Now, this is not my own report. I'm not the one that said all these things. It's from the World Economic Forum report. And what always happens is that each year, the world leaders always come together to look at what has happened with respect to the economy. And there's a forum amongst those discussions that we call the future of jobs. So inside that forum, that's where all these discussions are had, surveys are carried out, and these reports now come up. So it's not like we are the ones coming up with this report. So make sure you fill the attendance form. So by the time that we are done, you can easily click on the link there to download the entire report and look through to make sure that you are moving away from the right-hand side towards the left-hand side. Okay, that is the only way that you are going to remain relevant. Now, this is the same style that I've been able to use for a couple of people to also be able to get trained, learn skill, and break into the tech ecosystem. And most of the times, all these things always seem impossible until it is done, which is why we have a couple of people that have been able to take this same program. We have someone like Lois. So Lois used to be an accountant until she came to us and said, I'm tired of being an accountant and being in the procurement department. All right, I want to break into the tech ecosystem. So we looked at her background and found that business analysis would be more befitting for her. Now, one amazing thing about business analysis, which I'm going to also explain, is that it cuts across several departments that you can easily break into. All right. So after Lois concluded her business analysis program, she was able to land a role as a project manager in UK. Okay. And that is because of the opportunities that business analysis actually offer. When you get the slide, also feel free to click on here to watch what Lois had to say. You can also see other people like Ngozi. Ngozi used to also be a customer service person, all right? And she also finished our own BA program and landed a role as a business analyst as well. Ola did the same thing as well as Bukola. We have a lot of people that have been able to make this transition. So it is not new to us. It's something that we've done over and over again. You can see on my slide, Joel also made the same transition and he got a role in data engineering. Vivian got into data science, Oluwadamilare into data analytics, and of course, Ikmat also got a role into data analytics. In fact, I love Ikmat's story because she always mentioned how she moved from being a full-time stay-at-home mom into landing a job in the tech ecosystem. All right. So all these are all success stories. Abigail used to be a care worker in Canada, but currently she works as a business analyst with the government of Alberta. And while we've placed the link to most of these videos, is for you to personally go through it and be able to understand and hear them. Okay. If you have need to reach out to them, search for them on LinkedIn, connect with them, ask them question. How was your own experience with analytics? So that they're going to give you first-hand information on what they experienced with us. We also have someone like so you move from being a pharmacist into becoming also a data analyst. And people that also think, oh, can I actually be in a different country and land a job in a different country? It is highly possible. Abdurrashid currently resides in Nigeria and he's working for Child 420 in US as a data analyst. Now, this is to show you that it is 100% possible, and it was after he completed his own training program with us. Now, what I want you to also know is that it is not going to be easy, which means if the people in UK, US, Canada, and other countries are physically applying to this role, if they apply to one, you that's already geographically disadvantaged need to apply to at least times 10 of what they are doing. That is the only way you can be able to match up with the possibility of also landing your own roles. All right. But what skills do you need for you to be able to land these jobs? I know Moses have walked us through business analysis and also agile product management. How do you know the skills that you need? And what are you also going to learn? And how is the program structured? First thing you need to understand is, I believe that we all already know whom a business analyst is. But just to refresh our mind, they simply come into businesses to improve the existing processes and make it better. Okay, one thing that business analysts need to have is that you need to be very eloquent. You should not be someone that shies away from communication. Because one thing is, you are going to constantly serve as the middle guy between the non-technical stakeholders and the technical stakeholders. Okay, and what this means is that you are making sure that information flows from the non-technical guys to the technical guys, and from technical guys back to the non-technical guys. What do I mean? The non-technical guys can be the CEOs, the CFOs, the COOs, or the Cs that you can think of, while the technical guys can be your software guys, your front-end, back-end engineers, your data scientists, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. Your responsibility is to make sure that information flows seamlessly amongst all these people. And what's the first thing that you are going to be learning? So as a business analyst, first thing that you need to understand is Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Excel, Power BI, and SQL. And this is a data analyst tool, right? This is a data analyst tool. But what is the reason why you are learning this? We realize that recently recruiters are now looking for business analysts with data understanding, okay? So they want a business analyst that should be able to understand and interpret data. And in our own business analysis program, you are going to walk through Excel. How do you use Excel to analyze data? How do you use Power BI to bring out your insights and make it to be in a visual appealing manner? And of course, SQL, how do you query your databases to bring out data that's already stored in the database? All right. And then next is you are going to now learn process mapping. All right. Because remember, you're coming into the business to improve the existing processes. And with the use of lucid charts and .io that you're going to be taught, you'll understand how to map out processes. How do you map out processes? Now, after identifying processes, how do you not improve them? Okay, by virtue of trying to improve that process, you are embarking on a project. And for you to successfully scale a project, you need to know how to initiate and plan a project. And the framework that you're going to deploy to make that project come to fruition is what we call agile methodology. So you see, you're also doing a borrowed course from project management. And then from software development lifecycle downwards is now your core business analysis class. Software development lifecycle, requirements fundamentals, elicitation method, stakeholder analysis, and of course, ChatGPT for business analysis. So clearly, when you are done with your own training here, can now see the reason why you as a business analyst can also pursue roles that exist in data analytics. Okay, you can also pursue roles that exist in project management and also pursue roles that are fully in your business analysis space. Now you can see the reason why Lois was able to land a role as a project manager, even though she did business analysis with us. That's because you have all these borrowed courses from several departments that you are also getting to learn. Now, how is the program structured? Now, our program is only on Saturdays, all right? We have live classes on Saturdays where someone comes to class to teach you, talk to you live the same way I'm communicating with you, all right? The morning class goes by 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, okay? And then the evening class, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. So the morning class is suitable for people in Europe, in Africa, because of the time equivalence, right? While the evening class is suitable for people in North America. So if you're in US, Canada, US, and US, Canada, and maybe Australia, the evening class will be more befitting for you because it should be around 10 a.m. Mountain time. Now, self-paced class is also common. After a live class this weekend, by next Saturday, you are going to be having a self-paced class. And what do I mean by self-paced? Self-paced is simply you working on a video that your facilitator has provided for you. So your facilitator is going to do a 10 to 15 to 20 minutes video working on a project. Your job is to replicate what your facilitator has been able to also achieve. All right. Now, this entire process lasts for 8 months. Okay. You are actively going to be learning in the classroom with us for 6 months. Okay. And then you have an internship experience with us as well for 2 months. Okay. So 6 months, a massive classroom learning where you are learning using project-based, all these key learning areas that I've mentioned. And then also 2 extra months for your internship with a different company called Amdari, where I'm also going to be working on other real-life projects to boost your portfolio. All right. If we move on, you can see also what we talk about when we talk about agile project management. Okay. I don't know if people are still here. Did we get everything I said about business analysis? Did we get what I said about business analysis? I don't know if people are still hearing me. Kindly wait to the can anyone hear me? Did you get what I said around business analysis? Okay, I can see a couple of comments dropping now. Thank you, Aziz. Thank you, Damilola. White squad very long. 8 months is a long time. That's from Rami. 8 months is a long time. Okay, Rami, I'm going to answer that straight. Okay. Now, long time is relative. What do I mean by relative? If we decide to do a course for 1 month, all right, people are going to say, oh, 1 month is too short. All right. If you decide to do a course for for 3 months, people are going to say 3 months is too short. But remember, it is all real life case study and it's only on Saturdays. So your classes are only on Saturdays alone. Now, you do not even have to wait till the exhaustion of that 8 months before you land a job. After you are done with this initial Excel, Power BI, and SQL, the expectation is that you are also going to start pursuing roles in data analytics. All right. Once you are done with project initiation planning, Agile and Scrum for projects, the expectation is also that you will start pursuing roles that exist in project management. All right. And then when you are done with the entire course, you now start pursuing roles that also exist in business analysis. Right. So it is not till you are done with the program before you start looking for jobs. No. So instantly, 2 months into the program, we always advise our students to always make sure that they dust their CV and start applying to roles. I hope that makes sense to you. I hope that makes sense to you, Rami. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. All right, so moving on to agile project management. Like Moses also mentioned, agile project management is clearly for leadership and you being in charge of a team. So your responsibility as a project manager is to make sure that everyone is working using the agile methodology. Okay, so I'm going to give an example. I know he mentioned a couple of examples when he was giving us his own session, right? Let me say something like WhatsApp, right? If you've been using WhatsApp for the last couple of years, you agree with me that WhatsApp status was not existing when WhatsApp came out. Now, it is now something that they continuously evolved into, right? They didn't wait till, oh, we are done building everything that we need to build in WhatsApp before bringing out to the users. So once it has met that initial acceptable condition, they push it into the market immediately. Same thing with Instagram. If you go to Instagram today, if you like a post, it's going to be small. If you come tomorrow, you like a post again, the heart is going to be big. Next time, if you even like, it's not going to be pure red again, it's going to be orange and yellowish. All right. So what all these things simply mean is that constantly companies are improving on their platforms. And the only way you can be able to work iteratively is when you adopt the agile mindset. So when we talk about agile methodology, it's simply you being able to work incrementally to improve on the existing projects that you have, right? And what you are going to be learning as an agile project manager is, number one, is the methodologies and structure that exist in APM, all right? What is waterfall, what is agile, what are the different frameworks that exist under both of them? Then you move on to the skills and communication of APM. And also, you are going to dive into agile fully, agile and Scrum. So you need to understand the Scrum framework and the different Scrum artifacts that exist. How do you perform your increments, your sprint and product backlog? For instance, you want to build a mobile app, you need to be able to identify the product backlogs for that mobile app. Let me give you an example. If you want to cook jollof rice today, you're going to identify the ingredients that you need. All right, same things like, okay, you need your rice, you need your oil, you need your water, you need your pepper, your onion, and so on and so forth. And then you're going to place them maybe in your kitchen. All right, that's the same way if you want to build a product, you identify your product backlogs. If you want to build something like, let's say, a dating app today, first thing you're thinking of is, okay, the initial login page, password, username, forget password, and so on and so forth. So once you've identified all these things, you place them in your own kitchen, which we call product backlog. And then from there, you're picking each of those products and moving it to sprints. Right? That is simply what all this thing is talking about, which means sprints is just a period of time where you've identified to work on a particular story. Okay? You're also going to be taught advanced Scrum and Agile practices. How do you perform your daily stand-ups? Okay, to make sure that it's efficient for everyone in the company. And then also learn how to utilize end-to-end use of Jira and Confluence. So Agile project management, we refer to it as the no-code area in tech. It is the no-code area in tech. So the tools that you are going to simply be learning is Confluence, all right, Jira, and also Trello. And that is basically for your project collaboration and tracking your task, right? You're also going to be taught the Kanban boards for workflow management and also how to know when your team is performing below par or above what they are expected to do. That's where your burn-up chart and burn-down chart comes in. Then you're also going to fully learn the leadership and the real-world application of your APM roles. And also Nexus Scale Scrum, which is how do you manage multiple projects iteratively. Then everything that you learn within this program is going to prepare you for your professional Scrum Master examination. I know someone asked, APM, is it the same thing as Scrum Master? Yes. So like we all know, Scrum is a framework under Agile, okay? And if you are an Agile project manager, it simply means that you've been able to understand Scrum Master. very well. You've been able to master Scrum. I think that's a better word. You've been able to master Scrum. So when Moses was speaking, he mentioned a couple of things around when you are done, the roles that you can apply to. So that you are an agile project manager doesn't mean that you're going to be looking for roles just as an agile project manager. You can apply to roles for project management, for agile project management, for Scrum Master, for lane leaders, for Kanban managers, and so on and so forth. So far as you've looked through the job description and they have an element of Scrum in it, it is a role that is meant for you. Right? So the same program style is also adopted here. The class is just on Saturdays alone, where you learn in the classroom 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and then the evening class 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. And the program is also for 8 months. You learn immersively in the classroom for 6 months, and then you have your internship experience with Amdari for 2 months. And what this simply means is that you have the unique opportunity of having both Analytics and Amdari in your CV. And these are both two leading tech companies. So you can easily mention, oh, while I was consulting with Analytics, I worked on this project. While I was also interning with Amdari, I worked on this. So this is the easiest way for you to get an experience without getting an experience. So all those job opportunities that you said are asking for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years experience, how do you build up all those experience? It's by being able to learn using project-based model, and also by also interning in companies that can easily mention and beat your chest that you've been able to work with these guys in the past, okay? And then you must build a portfolio. You must build a portfolio, because this is the only thing that is going to be an evidence of the job that you've been able to do in the past. So I always ask this simple question. If you have a car today and your car spoils, are you going to give your car to someone that is saying, oh, I'm a graduate of first class from Harvard University? Or are you going to give your car to the roadside guy that is saying, oh, this is my mechanic workshop. I've repaired Aston Martin, I've repaired Benz, I've repaired Volkswagen. Bring your car, let me repair it for you. Whom are you going to give it to? The Harvard graduate or the roadside mechanic that is saying, bring your car, let me repair it for you? Let me gauge our own thought process and understand what you also think about that. So who are you going to give your car to? The master's degree holder from Harvard, or the graduate from Harvard with first class, or the roadside guy that is saying, this is my mechanic workshop, bring your car, let me do it for you. Let me see. The roadside guy, the roadside mechanic, roadside, fantastic. I'm happy that we are all honest on this call. Right? So the truth is that we are always going to tilt towards experience over certification. So I always mention to people to have this at the back of their mind, COC. What does it mean? Competence over credentials. Right? Competence over credentials. Nobody's going to hire you because you have all the amazing credentials in this world. If you do not have the skill, if you're not competent on that role first, you are not going to be hired. So I always tell people that certification is what we call validation of a knowledge that you already have. All right. So for you to be certified, it means that there is an existing knowledge that it is trying to validate. But what happens these days is that people just jump into certifications and get certifications without even having the skill for that role. And it has also been watered down. If you're active on LinkedIn, many times people may have approached you and said, oh, Chukwemeka, just pay for this course. You don't need to write the exam. All you have to do is, on the day of the exam, just sit in front of your laptop and someone from our own back end is going to write everything for you. All right? Now, if this kind of thing can happen to me, I believe most recruiters have also experienced it. So that is the reason why they are now looking out for people with competence over credentials. So when you get this slide, so I'm not going to open it, okay? When you fill the attendance form and get the slide, click on this portfolio so they can see an example of portfolios that you are going to build, okay? And these are the same way a mechanic guy has a workshop to show evidence of what they've been able to do in the past. That is how you can also show your portfolio as evidence of what you have also been able to do in the past. Now, technical skill alone is not sufficient for you to land a role. I always mention to people, everything I've been speaking since evening here is all about technical skill. But for you to land that job offer, you also need to get employability skills. All right, your employability skills needs to be very, very, very high. And number one thing that we're also going to walk you through is CV reviews and optimization. How do you make sure that your CV that is like a walking signboard of you is representing whom you are? Okay, remember your CV is going to get to those companies before you. How do you make sure it represents whom you are? So what we do is we also teach you how to modify and optimize your CV to make sure that it's compliant to ATS. All right, so when you look at the job description, it's now going to guide you to how do you tailor your CV down to the job specifics, because that is what is going to guarantee you to even scale the initial applicants tracking system. All right, now we're also going to give you a template, CV template that you are now going to constantly be modifying, which means 2 months into your program, you'll have this service also carried out for you, because after 2 months, you're expected to start applying to roles. And as well, what you're expected to also do is what we call LinkedIn optimization. So LinkedIn is the easiest and fastest way that recruiters hire these days. One is easy, is fast, and is cheap. At a point, we are looking to hire a French-speaking data analyst for one country, Ivory Coast, right? So what we simply did is we went to LinkedIn, typed data analyst in Ivory Coast, and it brought out all the data analysts that are active on LinkedIn. And we simply, headhunted and placed calls, interviews, and picked whom we needed. But if your profile is not sufficient, if it's not well star-studded to show the relevant things that you've been able to do, you are also going to struggle to land role. So we're also going to walk you through how to optimize your LinkedIn so they can also be visible out there. Then how to navigate the job market. We'll bring in experts back to the classroom to walk you through how you can easily be able to navigate the job market. Then very important interview prep sessions, right? You've landed an interview invite. You also need to be prepped for that interview. So you can book for the preparatory class, and we're also going to prepare you for your interview. How do you answer situation-based question using the STAR framework? So this is STAR framework, which stands for situation, task, action, and result. So when you speak, you are speaking from these 4 points. First is situation, which you can start with. Oh, while I was consulting with analytics, I worked on this project where I have to improve their existing processes. Now you're talking about the task already, which is existing processes. And the action that you had to carry out, you had to use Lucidchart to map out all the existing processes. You are now talking about the action. And then in the end, because of all these things that I did, we were able to improve the turnover of the business, which in return improved their revenue. So you've spoken through all these 4 key points, which is situation, task, action, and result. And this is the framework that we use to prepare most people for interview STAR and the SEAT approach for all the questions that you need whenever you are going for interviews. And we also are able to provide you with references and recommendation letter. So because you have consulted with us, you have worked on real life projects, at any point that anyone needs it for us to validate that you've been able to do this, we are also always available to provide all those letters for anyone that wants it. And when you land a job and still struggles, we're also able to provide on-the-job support for you. Now, most of our students do not come back for this because there's no how you're going to spend time with us and still come back for on-the-job support, because definitely you're even going to be a star when you land your own job. Then weekly mentorship sessions where we bring in experts back to classroom to also walk you through the challenges that they had. At Upwork session to be able to enable you to freelance. How do you use Upwork to freelance and land easy gigs outside them? And these are things that we make sure that we put you through so that you can also be able to land jobs. So you can see it is not just the technical skill. And this is not just it. We also provide you with access to weekly job posts. So what we do is, because we have paid platforms that we use here. Okay, let me quickly bring up the paid platform using maybe one of them as an example. We always have these paid platforms where our students also apply to jobs that exist here. For instance, we use this UK visa jobs. UK visa job is fully paid for. So what we do is we scrape all these paid platforms and provide the jobs that are available there for our students to apply to them. right? So we're going to scrape them and provide these jobs for our students. So weekly, you are rest assured that there's a job that you are going to be able to apply. For instance, let me click on this sales finance rebate business analyst, all right? So once I click on it, it's going to take me to the task or the job description for this role. Now, using this same approach, you can easily see what is required of anybody that wants to get into this role, okay? Anyone that wants to get into this sales finance business analyst. It's taking a while to come up. Let's just give it a minute. And then once, okay, you can easily see it, you can see what they require, and then you can now know whether it's something that you can be able to do. You can see minimum requirements, skilled user of business intelligence tools like Excel, and also advanced report creator, which can be Power BI. So you can see this is a business analyst role, but they're looking also for Excel and Power BI, okay? High business acumen, and also ability to provide leadership and so on and so forth. So what we do is when we get all this, we are now going to provide you with this for you to be able to prepare for the interview. And mind you, you are going to be using what we call our learning management system, right? So this is our learning management system where you're going to have access to all these scheduled interview, requests for reference, etc., and so on and so forth. And we also have our own in-house built AI called Oluko AI. So for instance, once you click on this AI, let me start a new chat with the AI for you to also see how it can also be able to help you. So it's asking me, hey buddy, how are you doing today? For a better and personalized experience, please enter your details below. So my name is Chukwuemeka Epa. So let me just simply put Chukwuemeka here and continue the chat. All right, so it's asking me, hello Chukwuemeka, my name is Oluko, which stands for teacher. I'm your personal AI trainer designed by Analyst. Which of the categories below best suits your current concern? Number 1 is career-related question. 2, course content explanation. 3, code-based issue or interview prep. So let me select interview prep. So I selected interview prep and it's saying, wow, you are awesome, blah, 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 congratulations. Please copy and paste everything about the job in the chat below. So let me go back to that same job and copy it from this place down to everything that they are looking for. So once I copy this and paste it in this Oluko AI and post. Oh, must not exceed 3,000 words. Okay, so I need to limit what I'm copying. Let me copy and start from this job description. Yeah, job description alone down to the preferred qualification and so on and so forth. All right, so I've copied it and I've pasted it here. All right, it's answering my question already. So I hope we are seeing how this is playing out instantly. You are going to see a step-by-step response that is going to give you for preparing for this interview. You can see first is preparing for an interview for the position of rebate analyst at Apple requires a comprehensive understanding. Number 1 is familiarize yourself with rebate structures and how they impact channel partners. And also see the technical skills that they are looking for: Excel, SQL, and also familiarize yourself with business objects for similar BI tools, which is Power BI, and then business acumen. You can see it has been able to analyze that entire job and has not given you everything that you need. You can see, do you need help using the STAR interview technique in answering some of these questions? So let me say yes. Once I say yes, you're going to see, please type the industry you want me to tell all these answers to. And once you're able to put it, it can also give you the responses that you are looking for. So clearly, it is a full, robust program that is going to help you to learn the technical skill, learn the employability skills, be provided with job opportunities, but the responsibility of applying to roles rests solely on you. So I always mention this to people. You are still responsible for applying to roles. For instance, our success rate as at today is simply at 88%, right? It is 88%. So it simply means that there is a negative 12% of people that are drawing us back. Now, this 12%, it doesn't mean that we didn't provide them with the same jobs that we provided for everyone. We did, but the responsibility of applying to those jobs rests on each of all those people. So if you decide to apply to them, that is where you can also be able to move on to greater things. But if you decide to sit and wait for jobs to land on your laps, that is also going to be very, very challenging. So this is the same pattern that we use for a lot of people. And that's how we helped 2,850 people to move from our classroom into landing their own first jobs. And all these are all success stories of people before you. All right, make sure you fill the attendance form. So when you get the slide, you can also go through all these success stories and be able to reach out to them. Like I said, this exact one is a session where we brought in past students to come back to sessions like this and be the ones that is speaking to individuals. So you are directly speaking to our past students. You can click to watch what they had to say also, and also reach out to them to personalize your own questions for them. So this last year also, we got into our Beta Catalyzer program with one aim: how do we also improve our own business to help more people to get jobs, right? And when you are done, you're also going to be getting a certificate from American Council of Training and Development, because we are fully accredited by the ACTD. So it means that we are fully licensed to train and also give you a globally recognized certificate once you are done training with us. Now, what are the next steps that you need? Our next cohort is starting on April 5th. And we have an amazing discounted offer for 300 women and 50 men. And I'm sure this 350 is remaining less than 50 as of today. It should be less than 50. And the same way I'm having this discussion, there are also other sessions concurrently going on. And all those spots are easily filled up, okay? So we have a 50% discount for the first 300 women and also first 50 men to join any of our programs. The full price of our program is $900, but it's currently discounted to $450 because some amazing VCs came together and said, oh, we love what you guys are doing. We are going to discount for the first 350 people to join, and then the rest, it is fully on them, which means you get to pay $450 US dollars to join any of our programs. And you have the option to pay instrumentally, which means you can pay $150 this month, $150 next month, and $150 the next month, all right? And how do you secure your spot? What you need to do is simple. Simply click on the link that my colleagues are dropping, right? Once you click on that link, it's going to bring you to our Analytics Enrollment Center, all right? Right there on our Analytics Enrollment Center, all you have to do now is to scroll down and look for where you have your secure your IWD discounted slot, right? Secure your IWD discounted slot. Once you click on it, it's going to bring you to the page where you can select how you want to structure your own payment. So I've clicked on it and it brought me to this page where I can select how I want to structure my own payment. So easily, you can see that the spots that are remaining is not actually much. All right, you can see that what is remaining is just 37 seats that are available. And once these 37 seats are taken, the price goes back to the full amount. So it's already hard coded. It's just 37 seats that are currently available. You can see that you can select that you want to make one-time payments, pay everything once. You can select that you want to pay 2 monthly installments, which means pay this month and complete by next month. You can decide that you want to pay in 3 installments, which means pay this month, pay next, and then upper one. Once you click on secure your seats, it's showing you that first payment is due today. Next one is due by April 26th, while the last one is due by May 26th. So once you click on proceed, all you have to do right now is just put in your name, your email address, your phone number, and pay for the product. Now, the amazing thing about this is that it's geo-tagged, which means if you are joining from US, you're going to see the pricing in USD. If you are joining from Canada, you're going to see the pricing in Canada, in CAD rather. If you're joining from UK, you're going to see the pricing in pounds. If you're joining from Nigeria, you're going to see it in Naira. If you're joining from Ghana, you're going to see it in cedis. So no matter the country that you are joining from, you are going to see the pricing in your own local currency, right? And once you are done, you are going to be redirected to a site where you can now fill in your details. Now you have the opportunity to also choose if you want to start your program by 5th of May, or if you want to defer to start by, or 5th of April rather, or if you want to defer that you want to start by 10th May, all right? So you have the option to defer to start at a later date, only 1 month ahead, which means you are securing your spot now with the discounted flow, but then you want to start at a later date because once the spots are fully taken, our price goes back to the full amount. I think Favor is asking $150 is for the whole full 8 months. No, Favor, So the full price, like I said, is $900, but it's discounted to $450 US. But you can pay instrumentally $150 every month for 3 months until you've completed that full amount, which is $450. But once that 37 spots are filled up, the price is going to revert back to the full amount, which is $900. So I always advise people to try and secure their spot instantly at any moment that they get to hear about this, because all those spots are easily sold out. I hope that makes sense to you now, Favor. I don't know if at this point there's any other question from anyone. Please feel free to put your questions in the comment section, or also feel free to use the raise hand icon, and I will definitely call you up to speak so that I can also hear you. All right? Do I have any questions from anyone, or we fully understood everything that we discussed today? Any question from anyone? I can't see anything. No hand is raised and no question is dropped. iPhone, you do. iPhone, it may be hard for me to pinpoint you because there are a couple of people using iPhone here, but I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead and ask your question. iPhone, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead and ask your question if that is you. Or you can type it in the comment section if you want to also type it in. iPhone, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
All right, so just a quick question. Just wanted to find, when we start the program, I wanted to find out, do you know the products and items that we're going to use for the program, are these going to be sorted out by you guys? Because one thing I noticed from the past experience is, well, as soon as we get along on the program, they start telling us, oh, we need to get this product, we need to pay for it. Is that going to be part of it also? That's what I want to know. Thank you.
All right, so you are going to be provided with all those platforms. For instance, if you're going for business analysis, you're going to be walked through how to install Excel, how to install Power BI, how to install SQL, and also how to put your flows into also your system. But what I always try to tell people is that Windows is very, very accommodating. So if you're using a Windows PC, it's easier. But if you are within the Mac operating system, if you're using a Mac, I think if you're using a Mac or a Mac system, Mac ecosystem is sort of closed out, which means some of those products you may want to pay for it. So if someone that is using a Windows is getting it free, you may have to pay for it to be able to access it because of how Apple has built their own Mac environment. But all those tools that you need, the platforms, they are going to be provided with it. Now, some of them may be free version, which means once you are done with your own training, those assets may be fully out. And the reason for that is that you're expected to be employed. And once you're employed, we believe that your employer is also going to provide you with all those tools that you need. But every single thing that you need, we're going to provide it for you. But please, Windows PC is recommended because Windows is very, very accommodating with every installation. But Mac is not really accommodating that you may have to make payments if you want to install a couple of things on it. How about the 12 months program? Is there a discount for that, Valentino? So Valentino, the 12 months program is entirely off, all right? So for this International Women's Day discount, it is only for 8 months program, right? We are not offering 12 months for it. Remember, what makes that 12 months is you have 6 months classroom learning and 2 months internship with a different company. For the 12 months is you have 6 months classroom learning and then 6 months internship experience with that different company. And our VCs are not willing to pay for 6 months internship experience in another company. So that is why it's just limited to just 8 months for now. I hope that makes sense to you, Valentino. So there's a question from Modupe, interested in paying via another currency. How is possible easy? For example, if I'm in Nigeria and want to pay with my US card also, can I change course before I start the same May? Okay, so Modupe, it is the reason why we made it like that is for people to pay from their locations, right? What you can easily do is that if you are in Nigeria and you want to pay in US, you can easily get someone that is in US to click on the link for you and complete the payment, right? Because if the person in US clicks on it, it's going to be showing in USD, right? But if you're in Nigeria and you click on the link, it is going to be showing in Naira. So what we recommend is for you to get maybe your friend, family that is over there to click on the link and complete the payments for you. Now, when they are uploading the receipt, because once you are done paying, you're expected to upload the receipt. When you're uploading the receipt, there's now a segment where they're going to put your own details, which is your name, email address that you want to use for the program. I hope that answers your question, Modube. They're also asking, can I change course before I start to make cohorts? Of course. So even after the cohorts have started, you have 2 weeks window to change class. Okay, let's say class is starting by April 5th. By the second week in April, you have up to that time to even change your mind. Oh, I registered for BA, but I want to change and move into cybersecurity. It is fully allowed. But after that 2 weeks, if you want to switch now, it might not be able to attract some fractional payment. So the reason for that is this. Before now, people used to, I don't want to say that playing smart on us, that 1 month, someone will do data analysis for 1 month, come back and say, oh, I don't want to do data analysis again. I want to do business analysis, and then move to business analysis. 1 month after, oh, I want to move to cybersecurity. 1 month after, oh, I want to move to this. So all those things are also stealing from us. So that's why it also attracts fractional payments once it's beyond 2 weeks after the programs have started. I hope that answers all your questions, Modupe. There's another one from Theophilus. Please, looking at the job advert that you brought on board, I didn't see any job in regards to agile project management, which is interested in, also about data analysis and data related stuff. That is from Theophilus. Now, Theophilus, you can see that I just use example to show. Now, what I have on my slide was showing also data analytics and a couple of other courses, right? You can see a couple of jobs that I've been able to scrape. This is for data analyst, yeah, confirm. Now, when I was showing you on the actual platform itself, I used business analysis to also explain. Because that's asking me if I apply to these jobs. So business analysis jobs that we also scrape, and we're also going to provide it for our students to apply to them, right? Now, these are also business analyst jobs. Now, in that same way, that is how we're also going to scrape for project management roles and also share it with our students to also apply to them. So I just use one of those courses to show as an example. So you can also see a couple of PM roles that we can also share to people to apply. I hope that answers your own question, Theophilus. Okay. Now, let me see if there are other questions. And we also have what we call Clarity Calls. It's entirely free. So it's a session where you come in and we look at your background and help you to choose a career path. Okay? But I always advise people to make sure you secure your spot, because the next Clarity Call should be by tomorrow by 9 a.m. West African time. Okay, so I always advise people to make sure you secure your spot and then come to the Clarity Call. Because if you wait till after Clarity Call before you secure your spot, the spot might be fully sold out. So I advise you secure your spot and then come to the Clarity Call. After the call, if you see that, oh, you selected data analytics, but right now, after our discussion, we feel like business analytics is best for you, we're also going to make all those changes in the back end. There's a question from Amen. Like you just said, I have already started my installment payment and I'm ready for the April class, but I picked the 12 months. Are you saying the 12 months route is no more available? So Amen, 12 months is never available for the International Women's Day discount. All right, 12 months was never sold. So if you listen to everything that we always say, right from when we talk about the program, right from here, it is always 8 months, 6 months classroom learning and 2 months internship. All right, so 12 months was never in any way mentioned as what we are offering right now, because it's entirely off the table for now. All right, and when you also click on the link to also make payments, right on that place that you are expected to select how you want to structure your payment, you can also see some things that are written there. So let me click on International Women's Day Scholarship. Once you click on Secure Your IWD Discount, it's going to bring you to this page where you are now expected to select how you want to structure your payment. So look closely with me so you can also see a couple of things that are right here. Right? Once you've selected it, you can clearly see everything that we have right here. Okay, you can click to read more to see everything that is written here. discount applies to only the 8 months program plan. So it's clear what we have been saying. So if you selected 12 months and you're IWD, clearly it's going to be automatic 8 months because 12 months is entirely off. I hope that answers your question. Amen. Okay, and there's another one. What if I don't have anybody in the US to register on my behalf in regards to the answer given to Modupe? For this, US, there's no reason for me to be looking, okay, how do I make payments in pounds? I'm looking for someone in the UK to help me to make payments. Okay, same thing if you're in Nigeria and want to make payments, there is no reason for you to start looking for someone in the US to make payments because when you do the conversion, actually, it all ties down to the same thing. For you to also, do some arbitrage, trading for yourself, you have to now be able to get someone in those locations to help you out with them. Just like you said, oh, you want to buy pounds or you want to buy dollars, and you don't have someone to do it for you. We are not into the market of FX or all those currencies. We simply make it in a way that it's easy for people to make payments using their own local currencies. All right, but if you want to make payments using a different currency, also feel free to shoot us an email to finance@10analytics.io that you're in Nigeria, want to be able to do this in a different currency, and we can always work something out for you, Theophilus and also Modupe. For anyone that wants to make payments in a different currency, just shoot us an email at finance@10analytics.io, and we are going to help you out with that. Okay, so there's a question from Quadzo. I work on Saturdays. How do I enjoy these sessions? All right. So I believe you don't work morning till night, all right? So that is why we have 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the evening. So even if you are in UK and you work around, let's say 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., you can decide that because your work is in the morning, you can decide that you want to be in the evening class, which is from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., all right? Or if your work is in the evening time, you can decide that you want to now be in the morning class, which is from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., okay? Unless you are working from 8 a.m. in the morning to 9 p.m. in the night. That is the only way it is not possible for you. But one thing we also do is that all the sessions are always recorded, right? So even if you miss a session, the classes are always recorded that you can easily go back to the class recording and watch the recorded version. Then during the week, we'll have what we call revision classes, drop-in sessions that can now drop into and also be able to ask question depending on the videos recorded version that you've been able to watch. Okay, how that make? Can you share the email here? Okay, I work from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Fantastic, Quadzo. 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., which means class starts by 6 p.m. So it means that you can easily join the 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. class, right? It might be your transit time, which means there is something that you have to now give for you to be able to enjoy it. Okay, because if you close 6 p.m., between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., might be on transit. You might decide, okay, if I close, I'm going to give myself 2 extra hours, 3 extra hours to be in class before I leave to start going home. So there's always ways around all these things, but we only have just 2 classes. And for you I don't know where you are right now, if you also do the time conversion, you're also going to see a couple of ways that can easily be able to play around it. Okay, so Modukbeka, you're asking for the email. Okay, let me quickly look into that. You're asking for the email, not Obong or more in the email that she can send requests to. Okay, so I don't know if there's another question from anyone, because I believe I've been able to do justice to every single question that we all had all through the session. Remember, there are only 37 spots, and these spots are easily filled. Okay, even right now that we are discussing, spots are going. If you go back to that same site that I just shared now, it is not 37 anymore. Right? So people are already taking advantage to break into all these career paths. Okay. Now, like I said, we've helped close to 3,000 people for the last 5 years that have been active in this market, move from our classroom into landing their first roles. And all our students work in these amazing places. Our highest area of labor is NHS, like I always tell people. And that's because they always provide visa sponsorship. So they are our highest employer as at today. Okay, so your own story of corporate social responsibilities that we've been able to do in the past, where a couple of people go home with $1,000, others go home with $2,000, as the case may be. But the main question that I have for you this evening is, are you ready to gain all those tech skills that you are looking for? I know early this year, a lot of people mentioned, oh, I'm going to break into tech this year. January has passed, February has passed, March is gone, which means we are in the Q2 already. So now is the best time for you to make decision to break into any of these career paths. Everything that we have on this slide, they are all success stories of people that have been able to make this same move before you. So thank you so much to everyone for listening to us for roughly 2 hours, 16 minutes. So on behalf of Moses, Joshua, Finn, Obong, Lydia, every single person that made this session to be very amazing, I say a very big thank you to each and every one of you for being with us this evening. So next thing for you is to take advantage of discounted spots and break into tech today. Thank you so much once more. My name is Chukwemeka Epa, and I'm the CEO of Analytics. I can't wait to see you in our class come May or April. Cheers, everyone, and bye for now.